Hello, my name is Daniel Ball and I'm part of the digital engagement team at the Lee Academies Trust, a multi-academy trust with Google at the heart. As such, it's important that we learn to use Google tools effectively, and one of the key aspects of that is how we share well with others. Sharing and collaboration is at the heart of Google tools, but just with any tool, if you don't use it properly, you don't get the most out of it. So we need to know how to use Google tools really well. And when you use it well, it will transform the way you work. If you use it badly though, it can get really messy. So where are you at with your current sharing experience? Is it full of wonder, or is it like banging your head against a brick wall? So let's look at some key principles and tips for how you can get the most out of sharing in Google tools. Sharing is a great principle. We teach this to our children when they're young, but we've also realised that for many it doesn't come naturally. The digital age has also transformed how we share digital resources. We can be very precious over the things we create, but the reality is in a digital age, sharing resources is part and parcel of life, and actually it's really profitable to be part of a sharing community. Also, we're constantly looking at ways we can save time, so reinventing the wheel really isn't an effective use of our time. By sharing with others, we release others to use our resources and hopefully vice versa, that we can use theirs. So this means we have a more efficient use of our time, we can get inspiration from other people, and also we can share great resources with our students. So when creating work, one thing you've got to think about is how you can share this with others. In G Suite, there are 3 key tools for sharing well with other people. Google Drive is the foundation of G Suite. This is where you can store all your files and folders, and it serves as a launchpad to share them with others. You can share directly from the menu in Google Drive, or once in a Google Doc, you can click the big blue share button. Next is Google Classroom, which is a great place to share resources with students, and for them, in turn, to share completed work back with you. Classroom links with Google Drive in creating organised folders for you with your students working. And the third option is Google Sites, and that's a simple way of creating websites and publishing information and resources for others to access. And this can be shared with specific people within your domain or for the whole world to see. Our focus for this session is on Google Drive, but if you do want to learn about Classroom or Sites, then do check out our other training videos on these. But the same principles apply whenever we're sharing resources online. When we begin to share in Google, there are 2 key questions that we need to be asking. The first question is, who do I want to share this resource with? There are quite a few reasons to ask this question. The first is that we need to protect our information. We don't want to be putting the wrong information in the wrong hands, whether this is something as simple as giving students the answers to a quiz, or something more serious like giving away sensitive information to people. So we need to be thinking about who we do and who we don't want to be seeing this information. So here are a few things to consider. Is the person allowed to see this information? When sensitive information is concerned, we must consider who is allowed to see that information and whether it breaks any legal or ethical guidance. We then have to ask, have I got the right person? We've all made that mistake where we type in a name and it accidentally gets sent to the wrong person when you put in the wrong email address. Autofill is great, but it can make us lazy in ensuring that the person who is sending some information to is the person we intended to. So it's always worth double checking before you send an email or sharing files who you're giving them access to. And the third consideration is, can they be trusted with this? One thing you need to be aware of is that when you give someone edit access to one of your documents, by default, you're then giving them the opportunity to share this with others. If you want to take this option away, you can do so in the advanced options in Google Drive. This means that only the people you, as the owner, have specified will have access to that document. The second really important question you always need to ask is, what do I want them to do with it? One of the common mistakes is that we blindly share files, giving full access to the file, when the reality is that the people we're sharing it with don't need that level of access. When sharing files in Google Drive, there are 3 levels of access. So it's important to think about what you are asking the person to do with the file. The first level is Can Edit. This allows the person to go in and make wholesale changes to your document. This can both be to add and to delete, so it's great when you're intending to work collaboratively with others. The second level is can comment. This means that any changes a person makes will appear as suggestions for you, the owner, to then accept or reject. So this is great if you're looking for someone to feed back on a document or to proofread it, while still giving you control to assess their suggestions. And the third level is can view. It does what it says on the tin. This means anyone can look at the document but not do anything with it, which if all you want them to do is to read something, then that's all that's needed. Something to be aware of is that you can have some more extra control over your file by clicking on the advanced options. In here there are a couple of key features. You can change the level of access that existing collaborators have for your file. So whether you made a mistake or if the need has changed, you can change the access level here. Equally, you can delete them here if they no longer need access. In advanced, you can also select a box that disables the ability of commenters and viewers to download, print and copy your document. So this is great if you need that extra level of control over what someone does with your file. One last thing you can do in advance is to change the ownership of the file, the ultimate in sharing. Once you do this, remember, you can't take it back. So it isn't only good when you share, but it's also great when others share with you. In Google Drive, anything shared with you appears in the aptly named Shared With Me area. This is a list of files that you cannot organise apart from by name or date. My advice is don't attempt to try and organise this, but to simply import any files or folders you do want to organise into your My Drive, and then you're able to arrange them in a nicely organised manner. You can do this by selecting the file or folder and then clicking the Add to My Drive button, organising it wherever you want it to go. You can follow a similar process for files that are shared with you as attachments in email. In Gmail, when you hover over an attachment, you get the option to download or save to drive. If you click on the latter icon, this will then save to your drive, where you can organise it in the same way shown previously. So what if you really want to take sharing to the next level? Then you're in the right place. If not, then now's the time to look away. A great tool for sharing is sharing links. You can access this option through the menu tools in Google Drive, or the advanced option when you hit the share button. When you hit Get Shareable Link, you then get supplied with a URL to share with others. Remember, files in Google Drive are like websites and have their own unique URL. You will see with this option you need to ask yourself again our key questions. Who do I want to see this and what do I want them to do with it? By default, it is set to our domain and view access only. This level of access can be changed to determine who can see it. By clicking on the More link, the main option you will see is to make it public on the web or available to those with the link. The first means that those people who search for it can find it. The second means only those who have been given the URL can access it. Remember, this is where you need to think about the trust issue, because anyone you send the URL to can forward that on to other people. Having this link is great when you want to make your documents available to the wider audience, many of whom you may not have their email address. So this can be used as a link in an email, in a document or on a website. You can do this simply by creating the text you want, something like click this link, and then turning that text into a hyperlink using the URL that you've been given. One other top tip for super sharers is using the URL to make sure that when you share a link with somebody, they only get a copy of the document and not the original. And this is simple by, in the URL, often at the end, it says the word edit. If you delete that and put in the word copy, and then share that link with other people, when they click on that link, it will ask them to make a copy. So this is great if you're sharing templates that you don't want people to work over. Just share it as a link, then they get their own copy that they can do with whatever they want. I hope this guide has helped you to understand more about sharing in G Suite. Don't forget the key questions to ask yourself when sharing, and to consider how you can be part of an effective sharing community. So in the true spirit of sharing, don't forget to share your appreciation by hitting the like button below, or share this link with your colleagues and friends and let others know about it. And let me share more with you by hitting the subscribe button to be aware of other training guides and videos we post.